doing again? Oh yeah, melodies tutorial. Alright, cool. Alright, so with melodies, well, we'll start with chords actually. So the most important thing, obviously, as most of you guys will know if you've watched me before, is that a scale is the most important thing. You need to work to a scale, otherwise you're just going to not be making anything that makes sense. Well, we're going to start with the chords and then do a melody over the top of it, and I'll just walk you guys through it, talk about my thought process and stuff. So I like that sounds quite good. Here's a little tip: if you guys aren't very good at playing stuff and you just want to quickly get out what you just played, dump score log, last 2 minutes, and you get the whole shebang. So there you go. There's my whole little progression I played. And we can even, should we quantize it? So if you want to quantize it, first of all you need to change your snap to grid to something smaller than up here. That's like the highest one. You need like a half beat probably. And just quantize like that. We'll move these all over. Oh yeah, I forgot to mention the VST we're using for this piano is called Piano V2. I'll probably just change it actually. So those are our basic triad chords. A triad is basically like tri, 3, just basic minor chords really. 037s, so you got, you know, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. If you guys know about that, it's just basic, really basic music theory, but yeah, that's basically how that works. So yeah, anyway, we've got our triad chords. Now we can add some sort of accenting notes. So I just heard a note sound quite good there. Now let's add some bass notes, which is just basically notes that sit underneath your main pattern, typically in a lower octave, and just basically set the mood kind of. They're really good. So what we do is we'll move these down a little bit. What I'm moving down is actually the velocities. If you guys aren't quite sure what velocities are, basically it's just how hard the note is played. Basically that just translates into volume. As you can see at the bottom of my screen, these green lines. So if you want to just move them down, you can just highlight them all by control, left click, dragging, and then you go into Alt. You hold down Alt and just scroll down with your mouse wheel inside the piano roll like this. So now our bass note is a lot softer. We can actually move these down an octave as well. What we could do is we could also randomize the velocity a little bit. Just give it a bit more of a realistic feel, and also the panning as well. So I literally just pressed Alt R to bring up this randomizer section, and you can just use these sliders to just adjust the level of panning and velocity. So panning is going to give it a wider stereo image, which means it's going to go from being like, so say this is your left ear, your right ear, this is the sound in the middle, it's going to take it and just widen it like that, so it just spreads it around the stereo image basically. Alt S to give it a strum effect, make it sound a little bit more like it was played, like that. Just offsets the notes slightly, like that. I'm going to turn up the BPM for this particular melody. Actually, we'll turn it down. That's cool, so that'll be our top line melody that we've just done there. And we did a little sort of triplet kind of note. So yeah, we got our chords, top line melody, and bass notes. That's basically a melody right there. So to make this a little bit more interesting, say I wasn't feeling this, and this is what I do this a lot as well. Something you can do to make it a lot more interesting is you can do Alt Y, and that flips the melody backwards. There should be a little thing that pops up and it's just gone. I'm not sure where it is. Where the hell is it? What the fuck? Where the hell is this freaking pop-up? What the fuck? It's Alt Y and there's nothing coming up on my freaking screen. Oh, it's there. Right behind my camera. What a prick. So if I wanted to flip a melody backwards, you would just press Alt Y and now you have a backwards melody. You'd have to fix it though. What we can do is now we can also half time it. What we're also going to do is we're going to EQ it, because with melodies you really want to avoid having much low end in them, especially if you plan on adding drums at any stage. Around 130, 140 is usually a good place to have a cut, but depending on the melody you might want to go all the way up to 200. It just depends. This melody hasn't got much low end, so it's quite subtle, the effect. Now we can just add effects really, whatever you please, whatever you guys have. I have a bunch, so we're going to add RC20. fact, I'll just get rid of that and put a spin on there. If we weren't feeling the key of this melody, it's very easy to just press shift and go up and down on the D-pad to just change the key. So as long as you remember your root note. So that's actually in B minor now, but if you want to move it up and make it sound a bit darker, or maybe A sharp actually. So if you do add a lot of effects and like crazy stuff to a melody, it's always best to export it and just have it as a WAV inside your playlist like this. So a quick way you can do that is literally like I just did. You click the record button, you press Alt R, and you export it out as is. So now we just have this, of course. There's some cool things we can do now if you wanted to really go the full haul with it and make it like a proper sample. We can get the melody up like this, right click and edit in Edison or audio editor, whatever it's called there. And you want to make sure it's synced up to the tempo before we do anything else, so you just click on that little like that second icon along there, little folder or whatever. Make sure you click tempo sync on accept. So now it should be pretty much on the mark. Medium grid slicing is what we want. That's basically just like a two-step slice, and you just want to come up to the top right icon, left click, drag across and drop it onto our slicer, and now we have it all sliced up in here. Make sure we switch to pan. Make sure the attack is. So as you can hear with the fruity slicer, we've managed to actually give it a sort of like, basically slice it up and give it that little gap, that little bounce that it needs. And now it's just brum, 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 brum. So that with some other sounds will actually be a really good melody. So why don't we go and do that? Let's add these other melodies in and make it like a complete sample for you guys. What does this need? I feel like a flute would actually go really well with this, so we're going to add a mellotron. The actual default preset is called Strawberry Flutes, and it is fire. Give you guys a little demo. Okay, the second one is absolutely fucked. We'll just record on top of this one. Oh, I almost had it there. I think I actually might have done it. Really good there. In a weird way, that actually kind of sounds good because it's really kind of like messed up and it sounds like it actually sounds like a real flute basically is what we've achieved with this. So I'm really happy with that. Let's add a little bit of reverb. Reverb is always good. Change the colour. A bit of RC20. That sounds sick. A lot better now, I love that. So that's our little counter melody basically done. And you guys know that I love a bit of arcade, but we're going to avoid it for this little mini tutorial because I don't know, I definitely use too much, so we're going to just chill with that. We're going to just go and add a synth bass real quick. Adding a synth bass is a great way to kind of test if your sample has that kind of feeling you're going for, because with the bass it will just ride the melody, and if it doesn't sound good then you'll know. So if you guys have Atmosphere, I recommend the Growler Moog bass. That's one of my favourite synth basses ever, and sounds good with basically anything in any genre, so you can't really go wrong. That sounds quite good. Easy way to test if that sounds good or not is to just copy it. Why are Ghost Channel's not on? That's so stupid. I didn't even notice. Okay, so yeah, we can just test if that's in the right key. Or not in the right key, the notes are correct. So that's actually not. It's actually F. So that's our synth bass done. Basically, what I was doing was I was matching up the notes here with the ghost notes, which is basically the ghost notes are just telling us what notes we've used in our other melodies and making sure they match. as it's kind of hard to tell with lower sounding instruments whether they sound good or not, because they kind of all sound good in any note really, unless it's like painfully obvious. You could just have a note that's 1 or 2 notes off. So yeah, that's a good reference. What we're going to do is we're going to EQ out the high end of the bass sound. Around 700 is good, very good actually. We're going to add a little distortion, but we're not going to use a typical effect. We're actually going to use the effects inside of Omnisphere, because they're actually very good, and I don't think many people really use them like that. So we'll go Foxy Fuzz. That's good. Just turn that up a little bit. So yeah, that's basically our melody right there. We got chords and a melody basically in the first like chopped up thing. We did add a counter melody and also a synth bass as well. Obviously I could just then take an arcade and just sprinkle on the last little bits of sauce, and then we'd be literally done. So yeah, that's basically how you make a real cool melody. Almost basically like a sample tutorial as well. So I hope you guys have enjoyed, I hope you learned something. Make sure you check out tomorrow's kit and then the following video the next day. Like I said, every single day for the next 2 weeks. We're on like day 7 now, I think. We're basically halfway through now, so if you guys have missed out on the first week, go back, check your emails, you should have it all. And for any new people that are joining now, what's good, you still got a week to go, and then Obsidian is going to drop. And Obsidian, for you guys who don't know, is a brand new sound library. It contains a bunch of kits that you'll need to make crazy beats: drum kit, loop kit, MIDI kit, Omnisphere Bank one-shot kit, a couple little bonuses as well. And you guys are going to get the opportunity to get it before anybody else. By far my best and most complete kit yet, and for the cheapest price as well, so you guys really are not missing out. I just want to say thank you for joining. Remember, this is an exclusive piece of content for my email subscribers, so make sure if you've got any producer friends that are missing out, tell them to join. And yeah, I'll see you in the next video. Peace.